Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening. Tonight's agenda, we have, from our last meeting, received a petition to accept Fairbanks Road. We'll have discussion on that. At 6:15, Kevin Willett regarding the Purple Heart Trail. And we're gonna have discussion regarding a Senate bill that got passed that allocates additional highway block grant money. And then at 6:30, we have a non-public session for employee evaluations. So, Fairbanks Road.
Did you want me to speak to
That's, you Fairbanks Road?
that? Yeah, I'm Mr. Fairbanks Road,
That's what I thought it was.
named after the land or the prior owners of the property.
Thank you, that was a question I had, where did the name come from?
Well, I actually named the road, since it was my idea to, have this development or whatever, and hire the people to make the roads and all. I decided that, I knew that in the past, Fairbanks had actually owned the property. And what was interesting, if I can digress here, my daughter was doing some kind of a literary thing in school, she entered a contest or something, and the person that received it was a Fairbanks who had lived in Northbridge.
Oh.
She went back in time.
Was it at the same area? Same area?
Yeah, it's part of it was called Fairbanks pasture at the time. Right. Am I supposed to speak, or do you raise the issue?
You can speak and then we'll speak. Go right ahead. Yes, please.
Yeah, we'd like to petition for the town to take over the road. It's been a number of years that the road has been in place. It was constructed, I thought, we had a local contractor, Accurate Construction, do it. I thought he did a superb job, still holding up. I had asked Peter if he'd come down and take a look at it. He said it needs some crack filling and brush. And so I think it's still in good shape. I don't know what your procedure is to evaluate it, and I'm welcome to anything whatever your procedures are. And I guess the reason I want to do it is because as I age, I'm not quite up to taking on the responsibility of keeping the snow off the road, et cetera, et cetera. And I just think it's fair that, when we went to the planning board to get approval for the lots that we have, they required that the roads be brought up to spec. And I've delayed it for a number of years, but I just think it's time, and I'd be appreciative if the town could take over.
You delayed bringing it to us to have it adopted, not delayed building it to spec, correct? You kind of ran into.
Don't mix my words up.
Well, that's kind of what you said earlier.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, you delayed.
No, I didn't delay anything.
It was built to spec, correct?
It was built to specs in the originally, and still, you have to take a look at it. I think you'd be pleased at what you see.
How many residences on that road?
There's actually 7 lots, and there are 4 houses there.
7 lots, 4 current?
Right.
Does it meet the current road specs?
I would think so. I was gonna say, no, I don't. Yeah, it's in very good condition. I would say very good condition. I was gonna compare it to other roads, in different places, but I won't do that.
Earl, were there inspections done when it was built, or do we know what the road is, how it was constructed?
Oh, I have the plans for
Okay.
the road.
Okay,
And I kept my eye on, it was Keith Mullen who did it, and he did a superb job.
okay.
He put the required amount of gravel, it's there. It's just there.
I'd like to make a recommendation that we, before we schedule the public hearing, that we do a site visit. Take a look at it, and if it's something that we're going to consider, then we can schedule the public hearing after a site visit.
I'll agree with that.
Would you be able to have those plans during the site visit?
Sure.
Perfect.
I have
What is it?
possession of them.
Do it at our next meeting, is that what you're thinking, or what's the agenda looking like for, when we meet next? Or is that too soon?
I'm thinking do it like on a Saturday or something, rather than going to one of our, although next Tuesday we're off.
Yeah, Saturdays are pretty valuable. If you wanna meet next Tuesday, I know we're off next Tuesday, but if you wanna meet for that purpose,
Yeah, if you wanna do the site visit at 6.
Is that okay?
Meet at Fairbanks Road, 6 o'clock.
There we go.
Sure.
Next Tuesday?
Yep.
And what is the actual date of that?
It would be the, first.
August first,
At 6 o'clock.
6 P.M., Fairbanks Road.
Have the road plans with you, if you would, Mr. Summer.
With road plans. Is there anything else you would need?
Coffee?
You mean by the pound or what?
No.
Do you have any other questions? Or anything else?
I think from what I've been able to read in the RSA's to kind of brush up on it, this is gonna be a dedication, which you would need to formally do the dedication, which I think we have that letter. And then after a public hearing and a review, if there's anything that needs to be brought up to a standard or whatever, then it would be an acceptance of the road.
A dedication? So
Yeah, it's a
that's special
two-step,
form.
it's, the ironic thing is I cannot find anything in the RSA on, you know, what it needs to include or whatever, but in one of the books that we have, that's how they explain it, that there really isn't anything in the RSA. You really have to look at case law to see it, and it seems to be that two-step process, and I think it was RSA 239.
Is it dedication, the fact that I wanna,
Dedicate it to the town, but just because
okay, so
you
it's-
want to dedicate it doesn't mean that the town accepts it until the town does. That's why they explain it as a two-step process.
Okay, so I'm requesting. no,
Dedication.
I'm gonna have a dedication to request that the town take over the road. Is that what, accept the road?
You would be dedicating Fairbanks Road to the town.
Okay,
Then if everything goes as you would plan, then the town would accept that dedication. And then at that point, it would become a town road.
I see, okay. And are there any, let's say hurdles that I would need to know about ahead of time, or is it solely your discretion, each individual, or is it,
As a board,
pardon,
as a board,
as a board it is?
yeah.
So you need a 2/3 majority vote to accept the road.
Okay,
David?
Does the town need a deed from him for that road? No?
No, because the way it works is similar to the same issue we just had at Matson Road, where when the road got moved, that land where it was before reverts back to the landowner. So if Fairbanks Road ever didn't become a town road, the people on both sides of the road own to the center line of the road.
You said Mattson, you meant Mason?
Mason, I'm sorry, Mason.
okay. How do I get information on the dedication process? Is that something I can come back and, could I see Joanne, or is this something I'm gonna have to dream about and make up, or what?
Well, to be honest with you, I don't think there's anything you need to do now, at this point. We received the letter
From me?
from you already,
Petition, I
the
petitioned,
petition, and now that we've received that,
okay. I understood that you told me that I need to dedicate the road,
no, I'm just saying the way
according to the law.
I've interpreted it's that there's a two-step process, dedication and acceptance.
Okay.
If you're
So the first step was the letter that we've already
Yes.
received, so that's done. So now we're gonna schedule a site visit, a public
Okay.
hearing, and then we'll discuss anything that may need to come up to code, and if it's fine the way it is, then we would take a vote to accept the road.
Okay. All right, very good.
I'm just chuckling because I'm looking up something for you and I'm saying that was a typo that I did, but
Oh, okay, it's
Yeah.
not me.
if somebody else asked me the same question, okay, and if you want to look it up, RSA 674
674,
40-A,
okay.
delegation of authority to accept dedicated streets, and that's pretty much
Oh, that's a.
the process of the board being able to accept that.
And that was dedication of,
Delegation of authority to accept dedicated streets.
okay. Okay, very good,
Alrighty,
thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mr.
Yeah,
Sullivan.
you too. Okay.
Good night. I was just realizing that was the email I sent to, copied you on it last, to Bob MacArthur on Green Farm, they were asking. And I think I wrote in RSA 764. Uh, 616, Kevin Willett.
Evening, Selectmen. My name's Kevin Willett. I'm a local Purple Heart vet.
Thank you.
Thank you. So it's come to my attention that there's no Purple Heart towns or cities or any Purple Heart, anything part of the Purple Heart Trail, which is a national trail of sites, railroads, highways, bridges, anything that you can use to memorialize the sacrifice that, you know, veterans have made. So, here I have just, I have a geographical map, which I'll pass up to you gentlemen, so you guys can see for yourselves that there is no Purple Heart cities or towns in the state of New Hampshire. As a New Hampshire resident and as a New Ipswich resident, I don't like that. I'd like to see that change. So through our town legislature, I'd like to see this happen as New Ipswich being New Hampshire's first Purple Heart town. The importance of this, I think speaks for itself. I could tell you more about the organization that I'm a charter member of, which is the Military Order of the Purple Heart. It's very prestigious, very honoring. I think it would honor our local veterans, but also honor the town as well. And I have a proposed sign. This is not the exact sign. I'm sure if you've driven through Massachusetts, you've seen Purple Heart towns, Purple Heart cities, and the small little sign that designates that town.
So, can I interrupt for a minute? You're not wanting to claim anything in town as a Purple Heart Trail. You're hoping that the whole town would wear this sign
Yes.
as being part of Purple Heart.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Joanne, did you fix the bottom of his?
Oh, no, I didn't, yeah, no.
I also have a proposed proclamation for you guys, for you gentlemen to read over, and if there's anything that needs to be amended, I'd like to hear what you gentlemen.
First, I'd like to commend you for coming in. Thank you so much, and for your sacrifice. This was one of the things that was on my list when I became a selectman, and been working with our camera guy in the other room, Ron. Thank you. For the last 6 months, trying to get a hold of somebody to make this happen.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
So I'd like to thank you for coming in. It just
Thank
happened to put it to make it happen. So I'll make the motion to accept your proclamation and make the town of New Ipswich Purple Heart Trail
Thank you.
effective immediately.
Can I just ask, can you explain what, if anything, the town would need to do, or what the...
This is a cost neutral thing.
Yeah.
This is any costs that are incurred by these signs.
Well, I'm not thinking of cost, I'm just thinking, is there anything that the town would need to do to...
August 7th, throw out a American flag, show your support, you know?
Mhm.
Go out, call your friends up that are vets, thank them for their service, or, you know, just be a supportive civilian, you know, of vets.
Mhm.
If you guys know anybody that are vets, you know, reach out to them, check up on them, you know, these guys go through a lot, you know, a lot of stuff behind the scenes that, you know, the public doesn't see. So, as far as what the town can do,
Mhm.
just, I don't know, thank your vets, you know, thank you.
But there's nothing specific that you're looking for the town to be doing?
Oh, no.
Okay,
no.
that's-
My chapter will take care of the signs, we'll have a ceremony, should this be accepted by the Board of Selectmen, we'll come back, have a little media thing about it. It'll give the town of New Ipswich some exposure,
Hmm.
and it'll be nationally recognized.
And where would you be proposing to put those signs?
On the welcome to New Ipswich or entering New Ipswich signs, so I believe that there's one, one of the
We have
larger
3 of
ones.
them.
3 of them,
Three.
okay. So I would propose that these signs be hung under or next to those actual signs, not the small Sharon and New Ipswich, I think it was.
Not the
Going
state,
down
not those
Turnpike
green
Road.
state signs, but the
Yeah, the
actual
little-
like wooden ones that we have.
Right,
We-
the
we
really
plan
nice
to-
ones, I
yep,
think that,
yep.
I love that about
But would this
Ipswich.
be on a separate sign post?
I don't, I haven't gotten that far.
Okay.
In the towns that I've seen, some of them have, it's as glorious as you guys want, as the
Mhm.
town would like to see them. So
I know the majority
the
of
town would like to
Massachusetts
see-
signs do exactly this.
Right, a smaller sign
Yeah.
underneath the entering,
Yep.
City X. And then my hometown, city of Chicopee in Massachusetts,
Oh.
they have a large,
Yeah.
like, very, very proud sign. So some towns are more interested in having a larger sign. Some cities want to take over the finances and say, no, this is too small of a sign for such a big deal. We want to make a huge sign, make sure everybody can see it from space. You know, so it's about what the town would want as well, because this is not just my town, it's everybody's town. And it's, and if this is a Purple Heart community, it's up to the community to decide how big of a sign, how extravagant they would want it. Or if they would like something more subtle and, you know, smaller, like my proposed sign,
Mhm.
so.
I'm thinking we have those granite posts on 2 or 3 of them, which would be difficult to try and get this incorporated on. But it could be something off, you know, on a,
Yeah, it could have its own sign
Yeah,
next to it.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Or maybe, maybe 10, 20 feet down the road, you know, you'll see welcome to New Ipswich, and then 10, 20 feet later, you see, Purple Heart Town, so,
Mhm.
so that's what I would do.
I'd second the motion from Selectman Johnson. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Once you have that proposed sign, if you could present it to us for size and location.
Okay.
We'd appreciate that.
Sure. So, just to recap, what was, what do you need from me?
Once you decide what type of sign you're gonna have
Okay.
and where you wanna put them, if you
Yeah.
could just come back to the board and let us know.
Okay, great.
All right.
August 7th is National Purple Heart Day. So my original plan in going through with this would be to ideally have that ceremony, the media coverage, and actually have that happen.
Monday.
Do we want to be any part of how big this sign is, or? do we
Yeah,
just
that's why
want-
I'm saying once he,
Okay, so,
Right.
Can you, when you put like the sizes of signs, like the average And obviously, like, this is the one that I've seen the most, the smaller ones.
Right.
But maybe like the other sizes that would be available
Okay.
to us.
I can have all that information.
Sure.
to you.
Yeah, it's proportionate to what we have out there now, so.
Right,
And you've seen those signs that we have,
yeah,
so yeah, so just proportionate to those.
okay.
It's
I went with the smaller one
information.
because I think that, that the smaller one would be proportionate.
Mhm.
Okay.
So the size
Great.
that I showed you gentlemen
Yep.
is the size that I'm proposing.
Okay.
For those of people in the audience and that might be viewing this video, the proclamation that the board has accepted is the Military Order of the Purple Heart, the Town of New Ipswich, New Hampshire proclamation for the Purple Heart community. Whereas the people of the town of New Ipswich have great admiration and the utmost gratitude for all the citizens of our community who have selflessly served in the armed forces, that has been vital in maintaining the freedom and the way of life enjoyed by our citizens. And whereas citizens of our community have been killed in action while serving in the armed forces and have been posthumously awarded the Purple Heart for their ultimate sacrifice. And whereas citizens of our community have been awarded the Purple Heart for their bodily sacrifice of being wounded by the hand of the enemy while engaged in combat. And whereas the Purple Heart is the oldest American military decoration and was created as the badge of military merit, made of purple cloth in the shape of a heart with the word merit sewn upon it, on August 7th, 1782 in Newburgh, New York by General George Washington. And whereas the heritage it represents is sacred to those who know the price paid to wear the Purple Heart, and whereas August 7th is nationally recognized as Purple Heart Day, and now therefore be it proclaimed, we the New Ipswich Board of Selectmen hereby proclaim New Ipswich, New Hampshire a Purple Heart town, honoring the service and sacrifice of those from our community who were awarded the Purple Heart while serving in our nation's wars, and also be it proclaimed, we the town of New Ipswich, New Hampshire, will recognize August 7th annually as Purple Heart Day, and urge the people and organizations of New Ipswich to display the American flag, as well as other public expressions of recognition of our Purple Heart recipients.
Thank you for bringing that in.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you for your service.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
If you sign that, David, then I'll type your names in on the bottom, I guess.
Okay, should we print that out on like a parchment paper or something if we're gonna?
And then I can put it in one of
Yeah,
the frames.
yeah.
Okay.
Do you have his info?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Do you want us to sign that and then put our names at the bottom of it?
She's gonna do that on like a parchment.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can touch base with him and figure out what he wants to do on the 7th.
That's what I was gonna say, he
Yeah.
left it on right
Yeah,
here
no,
at August
no,
7th.
I'll touch
Yeah.
base with it, that's why I asked for what you have for
Alright.
info and see what he wants to do on the 7th.
All right.
I think
We have the. The one with the figure on it, for
What?
the highway block grant.
Oh. It was in there.
I think it's folded over. It's longer than most pages.
Oh,
I believe it's,
the back.
one end of it's folded over, David.
Is it the very
There it is, I believe that's it.
Mhm.
That it? That's it, yeah.
Yeah,
Second page.
okay. There was that item that you printed out with the yellow from the, probably inside the folder.
Oh, it's pretty fat. Let's see.
Is it the one that was on your desk? What's up?
Anyway, I think it was in here, wasn't it?
Don't worry about it.
I can go get it.
I think it's sitting on the table.
Okay, what I was looking for, just so everybody can be aware, there was a Senate Bill 38 that passed, and that was a good thing for the town of New Ipswich because it increases the highway block grant aid that's going to come to New Ipswich this year. We're going to be, we're anticipating to receive an additional $127,554. In order to accept and expend those funds, and part of the Senate bill that passed, we will need to post and hold a public hearing to accept those funds. As a topic of discussion with the board now, with that money and with the caveat with that is it cannot be used for anything that has been budgeted for and funded this year. But whereas we are on a rebuilding road program, and we have a road currently that's going to be pulverized and bindered, and another area that was just going to be left as is until next year, I would like to propose that any additional block grant funds that we receive be used to continue this year with the additional paving of, either we could extend the paving for Temple Road, which currently we were going to be starting at the Greenville, New Ipswich town line on Greenville Road and coming to just about where
The driveway for Vanguard.
Vanguard is, correct. So would the board's pleasure be to continue with that process to the center of town? Or should we try to top part of what is going down as a binder, or are there other thoughts?
The binder will keep through the winter, so I have no issue with continuing to grind and bind from Vanguard right into the center of town. I think that would be the best plan of action. If the 125 will get us that far, I don't know.
Yeah, I think when we looked at taking, I think it was about 50,000 out of the block grant that we've already been received, got us from the
Temple.
intersection of Temple and Greenville to Vanguard, so I would think the 127,
Yeah,
That would get us more than enough to Route
at least to
124.
get to 124, yeah.
I'll agree with that.
yeah. I would-
Okay.
that would be good.
Why don't we schedule then to,
Any leftover monies, David, if there are from that, we could use to top coat that same section, but we can't use it to top coat anything from Vanguard out, correct?
no, you could, because what's been approved and funded by the voters was the two warrant
Okay.
articles for 600,000. We'll have already expended that.
Correct.
So anything we do additional,
Hasn't been budgeted.
yeah, hasn't been
Okay.
budgeted.
That would be my thought, though, if there are any left, to start at the Temple Road.
And just start
And
coming back.
and back out the top coat, yeah.
Yeah. So could we schedule that public hearing
Are
for?
there any culverts that need to be replaced on that section of Vanguard to 124?
Yeah, there's one,
At the
Two.
playground?
well, you have that cement one there, but then there's one at Playground.
Isn't there one at,
There's one by the pond between Vanguard and Kangas
Kangas
Road.
Road?
And then the one by the playground, I think those are the only ones that cross that road at that. For some reason, there's a catch basin at the end of Laurel Street, but I'm not sure where that drains.
And the other thing we'll need to have Peter look at is, I believe, one of those trees that within the last few years was cut down.
Big pine at the end of Playground Road?
Playground across from Kangas. I remember the
Oh,
years
maybe.
ago, the resident came in and asked the town to cut it, but it was on their property. And somebody eventually did cut it, but I think that goes under the road. We might want to
Clean it up.
clean it up before we
Yeah.
do anything there. But I'll try and touch base with Peter and have him start scoping out how much road we can get
Mhm.
paved. But in the meantime, since we're not meeting next week, if we could hold the public hearing a week from next Tuesday, that'll get yeah. I think the funds were supposed to be sent out by the end of July.
By Friday, by this Friday.
Okay, so,
So we'll receive the monies without, having had the hearing?
just won't spend it.
I'll take it.
Okay.
I think
What was that, 120, what?
127545. .54 after that too. Hi, Bob.
Hi, Donald.
Why, sir?
Quick.
Quick, yeah. So, LHS, the people who make the voting machines,
Oh, yeah.
called us up the other day and said, we have some refurbished machines, and we'd like to know if you'd like to buy one as a backup. After we do this discussion, maybe you think maybe we should use it as a primary. Anyway, so, I don't know where I'm supposed to stand, but.
It's fine.
You can sit, stand, whichever you would prefer.
So, the reason we would have a backup machine is not because we would run two voting machines in parallel during an election, but in case one jammed and was unrepairable during the election, it could serve as a backup. We've been told that our current machine was purchased in 2002, and it was probably manufactured a year or so earlier than that. The state expects to run for another 3, 4, 5 years. So they've not started a validation process for any other replacement equipment at this
Mhm.
time. And so I just want to make you aware of this opportunity. And he sent me what he called a sales order. I said, send me a quote. But he said they're all the same thing from his standpoint. So that's what the other 2 pages represent. So if there's no commitment on the town to do anything, if we bought a second machine, it would need to be tested, just like our primary machine would. And it would also carry its own maintenance fee of, what this year I think was around $225. So it would double our maintenance in the future, going forward from $225 to $450 plus whatever increases come along the way. So not pushing you to make a decision, I just want to present that information to you.
When do you need an answer?
Well, so he said until he sells out of machines within the next few weeks. They had originally intended it to end at the end of July, but I didn't get the information and get back to him in a timely manner, so he said, you know, be willing to work with us, but if he sells out, selling them to other towns in New Hampshire, then he's got about 45 or 50 machines, and
When would you be looking at to replace the current machine?
when the Secretary of State says, let's go certify a new type of product,
Okay.
a replacement product, which apparently they're doing down in Massachusetts, where they use both AccuVote and a new system. And I included the information there at the bottom, just for your reference. The new machine's going for about $6,500. But it's nothing we can take and, we couldn't go and buy one of those and use it because it's not certified for New Hampshire.
Mm-hmm.
But that really is a number that would go into the capital plan. It's the first real number we have put in that 10-year plan.
I'm not so sure that we'd want to put a which one are you referring to? The new machine?
The $6,500 machine?
Yeah,
We
okay,
don't go there
yeah.
in
Yeah.
3, 4, 5 years, whenever the Secretary of State says, we've checked these out, and this is what you're gonna use from now on. So, that's just informational.
Yeah,
The one he's proposing is 5 years newer than one we have.
yeah.
So,
A, we don't have a budget for it, correct?
not that I know of.
Right, we don't have a budget for it. B, have we had problems with ours?
Not that I know of. So, As long as they have parts, they'll keep maintaining them, and we'll go from there. And like I said in the note, you know, if currently it jammed in an unextractable way, which I guess it can be done, you know, then we go to hand count.
So what, would I presume then, in the event on the day of an election at 2 o'clock, the machine jams, people would still vote, we would put the ballots in a ballot box and wait until they come and fix the machine? And then process them?
Well, that would be one way. Of course, if they never got there, then we would probably, I don't know.
I think it says
I guess
hand count.
I need to find out. You know, we could run a tape at that moment. Well, maybe we could run a tape, maybe we couldn't, I don't know. I guess you can't put the ender card in through, see if it's jammed, it
Yeah,
doesn't work. So
yeah.
you can't get a final tally, so, yeah,
So you'd have to
put
hand
them
count
in, put them in
everything.
a wooden box, wait until they came and fixed it. If they were unable to fix it by closing time, then we would start hand counting. So, but like I said, I'm not trying to twist arms, I just wanted to make sure you knew the opportunity was available, and yes, I appreciate we didn't budget for it, because we didn't know the opportunity was gonna come
Yeah.
about,
Mhm.
Yeah.
so. But
Any interim thoughts?
Well, I think we should look at it a little further, we'll get some information.
What info are you referring to?
Well,
Looking
this
at-
information that we got from Bob, we can, I mean, I'd like to discuss it further, maybe not now, because I know we have an agenda, but.
Okay,
and that-
Very good.
All right.
thank you.
Let me know if I can facilitate anything
Very good.
further, or talk to Paul, who's the salesperson, for any questions you have.
Thanks, Bob.
All right?
Thank you.
Thank you. We're running a little behind. We're going to go into a non-public to do the employee review.
In the neighborhood?
Excuse me?
It's an employee here.
I told him
I
to
told
call
him to
him
call
when
him.
we were ready,
Oh,
Rather,
or when you were
yeah.
ready.
So.
Can I just ask a couple
you
things?
bet. Yep.
The audit?
Yep.
Is there anything you want before we pay the final bill? Do you want him to come in? Are you all set with it?
Does he have the final bill in already?
Yep.
I'll let you know later.
Okay.
Yep.
And how long are we gonna keep on this every other, just because I need to know for scheduling?
But we're
I
doing
thought
it
we had
until
dis-
Labor Day.
Yeah, I thought we had discussed until, well, until at least the kids went back to school. So September timeframe.
Yeah.
So, in September, go back,
I would say after Labor Day.
okay.
I was thinking October, but.
Daylight savings time, maybe? Yeah, I don't have it.
I don't remember a date. but
Yeah,
that's
I
okay.
had down, we'll start meeting every 2 weeks after 5/23.
Yeah. I thought you might wanna just continue. And then there's things in here to sign that you're gonna do,
Well, I
right?
think once we get into September, we'll be into budgeting.
Budgets.
Yeah. Yeah, the rest was just signatures, wasn't nothing.
Yeah, I need
There
a
was this-
volunteer to do,
The inspection.
yep,
Tim, since you've become an expert at this. Thank you for volunteering.
Do we have an application for someone that wants to take that position, do we not?
yeah. And I have her, she can't come in the 8th, so it would be the 22nd she'll come in, talk to you.
There's a, something in there about crack sealing some roads, you see that?
I just, That's just a recommendation from Peter, I'm presuming, for a,
The issue I have with crack sealing, I think it's a good thing, it needs to be done right, and I've been told by somebody at the state that to crack seal correctly, you should be routering out your cracks. In other words, V'ing them out so that the sealant's got somewhere to go. The way we do it now is we're just spreading crack seal over the crack, and it goes down whatever little bit it does. And
Do they-
Taking out the crack?
do they
Correct.
air blow it out?
well, they might hit it with air, but
Yeah.
they should be what they call routed or cleaned out, V'd out. I think we need to do it, but I think we need to do it right, because I hate to see this stuff get peeled up by a snowplow the next winter, which happens more often than not, so. Give my 2 cents.
And as I'm reading these two proposals there, one is doing the air clearing of the cracks, the other one
And one of
sounds like
them
he's
says,
just,
it says per pallet, right? Is that the one per pallet, the first one? That's the cheaper price, is the per pallet.
price per pallet, 6,000.
So if he uses 2 pallets, he's at the same dollar value as,
Having somebody come in.
or close to the second
Yeah.
gentleman, that's already, I think we need a few more
Get that
questions
clarified.
answered. Yeah, thank you.
Talk with
Thanks,
Peter.
yeah, I appreciate it.
We don't have anything else. I'd like a motion for,
Take a
going to
recess.
non-public. You wanna go
Yep.
and take a recess?
Yeah, I can call him.
5-minute recess?
Ask him to come down.
Yeah. Well, we'll
Sure,
adjourn for
5-minute
5 minutes.
recess, yep.
So you're gonna go into non-public?
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna
When
recess
we come
first,
back.
and then when he comes back, then when he gets here, we'll go in.
Okay. So you have all your copies, right?
Bottom of the folder. 93A2C.
There you go.
Yeah, make a motion to enter non-public session 91A3, section 2, matters of which discussed in public would likely adverse the reputation of any person other than a member of the body itself, unless that person requests an open meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Mr. Stanley will come in and